people compare me to my dad. Am I going to be better than my dad? Will I ever be better than my dad? That's not that doesn't bother me. I just read it and be like, oh, cool, you know what I mean? Because he's Kevin Campbell, I'm Tyrese Campbell, two different players.
Hello, listeners, and welcome back to another episode of the Beautiful Game podcast. As you can see, we're in a different setup. We've travelled all the way to northwest of England to, give you guys the best content possible. So before we kick into it, I need you to do us a big favour and hit the subscribe button and subscribe to the channel, and also like this video if you want to see more content like this going forward. I'm joined with my right-hand man, Dej. What are you saying to me, brother?
I'm good, bro. Long journey in today, but it's worth it. As we were saying off air, I think Zoom, obviously we can say bye-bye to it. The pandemic's gone. So we want to be doing in person. So we're going to be making extra effort to make sure we're delivering top-notch quality content. And we've got a special guest, so we can't complain.
And very quickly, before we introduce the special guest, as Des said, follow us on Twitter at podcast_TBG, Instagram at pod_TBG. We're now on TikTok, TBG Pod. Follow us there, like our videos, and let's get this started. We are joined with Tyrese Campbell. What are you saying to me, bro?
Nah, I'm all good, man. Thank you for having me on, guys, man. I'm looking forward to it.
Love for coming on, bro.
Love. We appreciate it, bro. As we said, we've been speaking to your team for a while now, and we said that we want to get Ty on, and the man's here now. So, let's chop it up.
Yeah, so take us back to the beginning, man.
Obviously, I was born 1999, just before the millennium. My dad was playing for Everton at the time. I think I was 3 days old when I made my first appearance on Sky Sports, and they're saying this is Kevin Campbell's first newborn son. So, but as soon as I was born, as soon as I could walk and realise what was going on, I knew what I wanted to do. You know what I mean? Wanted to follow in my dad's footsteps and be better than him. And I'm still obviously on my way, but I feel like I'm on the right path.
So was football something that you always wanted to do? Because you said obviously you were on TV at 3 years old, so that shows that you were destined to be in front of the camera, So
yeah, I mean, nothing. I never wanted to do anything else. It was always football. Even at school, they knew I wasn't really that bothered about. Obviously, you got to do what you got to do to get the marks and the grades and that. But football was always the one for me.
So yeah, we're going to go back to, the beginning again later on in the podcast. But what are you up to now? Obviously, it's been international break. Football's coming back this weekend. So what have you been up to?
Well, we've been training. We've been working. We've had sort of a different week to what we used to. Obviously, I've got a new manager in. So we've been sort of 2 days in, day off, 2 days in, 2 days off sort of thing. So yeah, we've just been training, working hard and trying to get up to the tempo and intensity that the manager wants us to work at.
Yeah, you mentioned obviously you got a new manager, Alex Neil. I know that he was at Sunderland before, then obviously he's come to Stoke and he's someone that's respected in the game. So what are you doing under him that there maybe wasn't in the old regime? Or let me rephrase that, what's different about the new regime?
Definitely the intensity of the way we train, the way he wants us to play. Even just little things around that. It's not much tactically that changes from game to game, but in terms of what we do behind closed doors, it's definitely the intensity of the work that we put in and what he wants us to play at, and just make it uncomfortable for the opposition.
So when you say intensity, what do you mean by that? Because we hear that as a football jargon, football term.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
For example, you lose the ball in training, he wants you to get it back ASAP. You know what I mean? Walking back into position, you just straight back. He wants that ball back, and the way we run, the way we play, press, attack, defend, just everything is just 100% just as to your max really. And obviously it's something that we've not been used to all the time in the past. it's different now, and that's what we're just trying to work towards, getting to that 100% intensity as much as we can in a game.
Yeah, because Stoke has spent a lot of money. You've got Dwight Gelwin, who we know from the Premier League, Newcastle. You've got Liam Delap, who's obviously from Manchester City. So they're spending big money. I know the Coates family,
Yeah.
obviously they run Bet365, so they got a lot of money. So there's high expectation. So like, what was the target before the season?
I think as a team, we know we've underachieved in the past. And if you look at the squad, what we've had, what we have, is a team full of like talent and experience, and that team should be fighting playoffs minimum. You know what I mean? And we've not done that in the past few seasons. And I think every season we come into it and we just have to play our own game and not focus on anything else, and just allow us to just drive the team forward, really, and just keep our focus on what we want. Like we've discussed it as a team and what we want. I mean, I don't think there's any teams in the league that have been in the league for as long as we have now that will say, we're happy to just stay here. We want to all push on and play in the Premier League. I mean, everyone's got a dream to play in the Prem regularly, week in, week out, and that's what we all want to do.
Take us through a day in the life of like Tyrese Campbell. So let's say, for example, a training day. What happens?
Wake up.
Obviously.
Lie in bed for a little bit, just get to grips with the day and that, and then I'll drive in, stop off at Starbucks, get a coffee, something like that.
What are you having?
Yeah.
Black Americano?
Nah, flat white.
Okay, cool,
Oat milk, flat white. Yeah, get into training, see all the lads. Obviously, a couple lads are playing darts, some are in the gym, some are in the treatment room. Some of them are at breakfast. Everyone's all over in the morning, and then get in, get changed, go in the physio quickly, just check everyone in there, say hello to everyone and that, and then I'll probably go for breakfast, come back down, chill a little bit on my phone, chat to the lads, and then get in the gym, stretch, warm up, stuff like that, get ready for training, and then about 10:45 we'll go out, do like warm up, and then that's about 15 minutes, and then hour 15, hour 30 we're training, like intense sessions, like going for it, and then come in and we'll have gym, depending on how far it is off a game. It'll either be uppers or lowers. Lunch, treatment, pools, recovery stuff, and then get ready to go home and just feet up, really. Maybe one more time I'll jump on my PlayStation.
What are you playing?
I just got the new FIFA, so I've been on that a little bit.
Yeah.
But Call of Duty, I like my Warzone, man. Yeah.
See that you lot are privileged. You get the games early.
Yeah.
You have to wait on the release.
Common
date.
civilians, isn't it, like us? So, how would you sort of assess your season so far? You've made 9 appearances. You've scored a goal, which was a last-minute one. You know, so personally for you, are you happy with how it's played out so far?
Not really. I would have liked to play more than I have. I had a couple little injury niggles that haven't been like major, but have just kept me out of the odd game. But yeah, I definitely felt like I need to be playing more. You know, I had a big injury a couple of seasons ago. Last season, I was just happy to be back playing in and around the team. But like, this is the season I need to be playing and scoring, because like before I got injured, I was flying, best football I played, and I just want to get back to that and just push on even further than that. So for me, this is a big season.
Because as I mentioned before, there's been new signings in your position, Dwight Gale, Liam Delap, and obviously at the moment they're forming sort of like a partnership, and you're having to sort of wait for your opportunity. So how have you been finding that?
That's normal though in football. Like, the competition is good. I mean, if you're a player who got no competition, then you know you're going to be playing, you know what I mean? Whereas if you've got competition, you want to do the best you can every day in the game, do as best you can, because you know that if you don't, then the manager can look and go, I'll put him in for this one, and you can sit like you could be on the bench. So I think competition is definitely healthy. I mean, you ask any player and they'll say the same. So I'm relishing it. I'm obviously Gailey, experienced Premier League striker. You know what I mean? Like, you can't disrespect what he's done. And Liam is obviously younger than me, but he's always got a name for himself. He's playing well for scoring goals for City, for England. So respect thing always, but I'm enjoying the competition.
And like, how difficult is it, like, dealing with niggles? Like, is it something that affects your confidence? Maybe you feel like you can't do the sprint that you always want to do? Does it like affect your confidence, or is it in the back of your mind at any time?
It can be, because obviously if it's a more of a muscular thing and you feel like you can't push the 100%, then like you want to be able to be 100% most all the time. But sometimes, especially with the championship season, 46 games, it's hard to be 100% all the time. You know what I mean? So
tough one.
You just got to do all you can recovery wise, preparation wise, to be as close to 100% as you can. So it's not nice, and obviously niggles are things that you always do have in the back of your mind. You don't want to make them worse, but also there's certain ones that you can go, well, I can't really make it any worse than it is now. So you just got to sometimes just play through it.
So do you like set targets, like, you know, ahead of a season? You say, okay, I want to hit X amount of goals, X amount of assists. I want to hit X amount of minutes. Is that something you do, or you just literally just playing?
Yeah, I mean, all strikers have a target in their head of how many goals they want. I don't really go for assists because I'm a striker, you know what I mean? So my job is to score goals.
So if you assist in a game and you don't score, are you happy? It depends.
If we win, yeah.
Okay.
If we win, yeah. But obviously I want to score all the time. And but if I'm contributing to the team and I'm playing well, I mean, I can't argue, because there's bigger reasons as to why we're all playing like as a team for each other. So I mean, I'm not going to be unhappy, but I want my goals. You know what I mean?
So you mentioned earlier that obviously a few seasons ago you were absolutely flying. So if you were to like sort of assess your fitness at this moment now compared to that, where would you say you are?
I feel to a similar level, because when I was playing at that point, I'll admit, like, you ask anyone around me, close to me, I'll be the first to say the injury was probably the best thing that happened to me in terms of just looking after my body and actually taking my body serious. Because when I was young, like, I was just, like, my numbers, like sprint numbers in the game were ridiculous. You know what I mean? Like, I was like 30 sprints a game and stuff like that. And like, when you're doing that, you've got to look after your body and refuel, like sleep well and stuff, and recover right and prepare right. And I probably wasn't doing that. So now, like, it's something that I look at and I make sure I do properly. And it definitely taught me a lot while I was injured, just to like appreciate my body more.
So what kind of precautions are you sort of taking now that you wasn't doing beforehand? I know you said you're sleeping, but in terms of dieting.
Yeah, I mean, your diet is important. Obviously, you got to be putting good things into your body that's going to help your body, you know what I mean, instead of hinder it. So like, diet is a massive thing. Obviously, don't really want to can't be eating takeaways every night and stuff like that.
That's what we were doing on our way here. We stopped off at Five Guys, you know, greasy, to give away our secret.
Baiting it out.
But we're not players though.
True. Yeah, you're right. But yeah, obviously, once in a while it's all right. You got to treat yourself, but like, you got to be dedicated and like, just, as they say, treat your body as a temple. And yeah.
So what is that dedication again? Like, you know, we're not footballers, so we can't really understand what you're trying to say. So that dedication every day to master your craft, how difficult is it?
Obviously, it's hard, because like, when I was younger, I'm going to training and I'm seeing my mates go out and just chill in like the town centre and stuff like that, and just ride scooters and bikes and chill. And I'm like, oh, I've got training tonight. But then and then I'll think back and be like, but this is all what I've always wanted to do. I mean, I was at City training 3 times a week, playing a game on a weekend. Like, I can't ask for much more than that as a young boy wanting to be a footballer. So in terms of dedication, it's hard, because it's something that it's something you don't just get it overnight, you know what I mean? Like, you either got it or you don't. And if you want to commit to it and you want to do what you love, then you've got to buy into it.
Yeah, because as I said before, we wanted to speak to you for a long, long time. I remember a few years ago, your name was ringing, serious alarm bells.
Everywhere.
There was rumours, Newcastle, Rangers and stuff like that. During that period, was there a time where a move almost sort of materialised?
Yeah, there was a couple of points that a move was going to happen, but this was only really when I wasn't really playing at Stoke before I signed my new deal. I was 19, turning 20. I needed to play football, you know what I mean? So it was just one of them things where it wasn't and nothing against the club, nothing against like the manager, players, anything like that. It was just literally me needing to play.
Was that Rangers?
Yeah, Rangers.
Okay.
So it was literally just that, but obviously manager Michael O'Neill at Stoke at the time sat me down and said like, what's going on? And I told him like, I've not got anything against the club. I mean, I just need to play. And he said, well, if I pick you, you're gonna play. And I said, of course. I said, I'm not gonna not play. I don't want to leave.
Yeah.
Like, I'm happy here. And yeah, so played them games over Christmas, and then
that's refreshing because a lot of fans or people in the public sort of see people on the bench think, he doesn't mind, he's getting 30, 40 grand a week. But this is the opposite sort of mindset. Like, listen, I want to earn my corn. I want to be contributing to the team. So that's refreshing,
definitely.
man.
No, in football, I mean, I don't think there's any players out there that want to, they go and play football to sit on the bench, you know what I mean? So, yeah, of course I wanted to play, and that's all I'm bothered about even now. Like, I would just want to play football. I'm not happy to be sat on the bench. So that's just all my aim is to do every game, just play.
How is it as a striker? Because we recently had Eddie Nketiah on the podcast, and he was sort of saying that if I get my 3-4 games in a row, I don't deliver, then that's sort of on me. I can sort of accept that maybe I'm not contributing. Do you think that's sort of like a fair argument that, especially as a striker, you need that sort of consistency to be, getting match fit, getting into those positions? Because coming in for like 10 minutes here and there, it's difficult to get that rhythm.
Yeah, I mean, rhythm and stuff like that is vital to a striker, because like one game is hard to affect if it's like you've not played in a little while, you're coming in, you're not 100% match fit, like as the other strikers that I've been playing. So I think what Eddie said was right, like 3-4 games to get yourself into that rhythm, get yourself into them zones, and just like let your instincts kick in again, you know what I mean? Because like if you're not being played over a certain amount of time and allowed to build that up and like your match confidence and stuff like that, it's hard for a striker. So them sort of 3-4 game runs are vital. And obviously, as if I'm not doing the business in them 3-4 games, and I understand, you know what I mean? But I back myself, and I'm sure Eddie did as well, that as you see. So,
yeah, he did. Straight after that. So that's what I'm trying to get you to do, to say that you get your run, that you get your...
People are like, every striker should come onto our podcast, say that and go and do their thing.
No, but definitely them 3-4 games like important for anyone. Even like not just strikers, you know what I mean? Defenders as well, midfielders. Like you need that rhythm, otherwise you can't just dive in for one game, miss 2, dive in for one game, miss 1. It's important. You got to get the repetition.
Do you look at any strikers and say, no, I want to model my game on this player, or I like what I see when I watch this striker?
Yeah, but it's not just one striker. You know what I mean? Like. I like Haaland's mentality, killer mentality, his movement in the box. He's just a killer, you know what I mean? Then you've got Mbappe, who's like quick, you know what I mean? His movement's frightening, finishing, can dribble, can run past you. He's got a killer mentality as well. And then you got like the older strikers like Lewandowski, who's just obviously everyone knows what he does. Benzema. Then there's obviously strikers that have retired now, but like I used to watch them and think like I want to be like him. Obviously, my dad to a point, but he won't let.
You had to get that one in because he's gonna watch this and be like, "Come on!"
Gonna ring me after he sees it. Like, what are you talking about? But now, like Henry, Drogba, like all them strikers, like Raul's movement in the box. You take a little bit off all of them, and you want to model that into your game as much as you can, but also you want to keep your own flair to it as well, because this is what's got me to that point. So obviously I'm doing something right. So I've got to just keep building on that. And obviously these are world-class strikers. So to take little bits off them, and if I can bring them into my game, then it's not going to harm me. It's only going to do me good. Yeah.
So like, what's your sort of, in business, they call it like a unique selling point.
Yeah.
So as a striker, like what do you think sort of your special effect is?
Being left-footed.
Serious?
Yeah.
Okay, why did you say that?
Is that a thing? Like,
I'm left-footed as well. Yeah.
Like, is that? We're all left-footed on the table. Is that a thing in football?
Yeah. Well, in my career, I've always found that obviously I've played with so many good players that are right-footed, but the left footers seem to have that extra bit of just class about them. You know what I mean? Like, it's just that's not me. I'm not trying to say that. It's just because I'm left-footed. Like, there's bits to my game that not many strikers have, like the pace, the power, the finishing, the left foot. You know what I mean? But I just feel like left footers are just a lot classier and cleaner. I'm not saying that there's right footers out there that aren't, but I find like the left footers I come across are just been
the techers.
Yeah, the techers and
the irony. Most of the strikers you mentioned, they're right-footed.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean.
So like Erling Haaland, someone that's sort of taken the Premier League by storm. Like before he came, everyone was sort of saying the Germans league.
Bundesliga
It's
attacks.
like, it's a farmers league, stuff like that. So as a striker, just watching him come to England and just bad it up, like what are you thinking? Are you like the rest of us thinking, rah, this guy, he's on his job?
Yeah, of course. You look at him and you just see what he does and you're like, you know what he wants to do. He's not come here to play and get his name out. He come here to score goals. He come here to do what he's done at Dortmund, what he did at Salzburg, what he does for Norway. You know what I mean? Like he's a striker and he's a killer and he just wants to score goals. Like a lot of strikers do. I mean, there's different strikers. Like Haaland's just number 9, whereas Jesus can drop in and he's got nice feet. He can beat a man like with dribbling. Like he's got that Brazilian flair about him. But Haaland's just stone cold killer.
So what do you think? Because like when I see Haaland, and I'm a Liverpool fan by the way, and he misses a chance, he's sort of like, last, okay, next time I've got you. Whereas when I see Nunes, it's, oh my God, I've missed.
Yeah.
Why? Oh, silly me, etc. So like, what sort of mindset does it take to be like that sort of killer?
I think with that, a lot of it is to do with confidence in yourself and confidence in your team, because at the end of the day, as a striker, your team are the ones that are going to supply you with the chances. So, for example, Haaland's got KDB, Bernardo,
on a plate.
Phil Foden,
It's on a plate.
Grealish, Cancelo. Like they've got a whole heap of guys that can just give him the ball on a plate. You know what I mean? So, if I'd smile as well. You know what I mean? If you miss it, you're going to get 5, 6 more chances. You know what I mean? So, it's like he trusts in his teammates. He trusts in his ability to score the next one. And as a striker, that's important, because if you worry too much about the chance you've missed, then your head's still going to be worried about that when the next chance comes. Whereas if you're, it's coming, the next one will come. You're always going to get another one. And then you'll just be ready for the next one and you'll make sure it goes in.
Do you watch much football? Because I remember, I think I was listening to an interview where Ben White was like, look, I play the game, but outside of the game, I don't really watch much football.
Yeah.
How is your relationship with the game? The beautiful game?
I watch any football I can watch, you know what I mean? So if international week, I was watching the Georgia game. A couple of my mates obviously play for Northern Ireland, Scotland, stuff like that. So I watch their games, but I watch any game. I love football. I love watching football. I don't really watch much else. I watch the odd series and that, which I enjoy, but it's just football.
No, that's good. That's what we like to hear. Dedication beyond the pitch. So like, obviously you mentioned there's a new manager in charge, and normally players come out and say, yeah, the manager grabbed me around the shoulder and said, this is his plan for me, etc. Has the manager spoken to you like on a one-to-one basis about what he's expecting from you for the rest of the season?
Well, he sort of did it with like every player, to be honest, but it's a meeting that you like expect, and obviously he just sat me down and said, listen, like, you've got the ability, you've got the talent, just want to see it. Like, there's a reason why you're here, and the reason why you're like, a lot of people speak highly of you, so you got to go and show them. And he said, it's going to be a combined effort, but it's mostly down to me to work hard and show everyone what I've got and my talent. So yeah, it's more something that I enjoyed. I'd rather me have the responsibility, and obviously him just let me do my thing, and like I've got to work hard for it, but I'm sure I know I will do it.
So yeah, like whenever a manager obviously loses a job, there's a reason for it. And obviously Michael O'Neill came in, he done a decent job. What do you think the reasons were that led to sort of his dismissal?
Obviously, at the end of the day, regardless of how a manager gets a team to perform, how he gets a team to bond, it's a results business, you know what I mean? And
yeah.
I don't think the results maybe were as good as the owners had liked, and he changed the club massively. Like, he'd done a lot of stuff that needed to happen. And I think they were. Everyone's been grateful for that. Like, I'm grateful for him. He gave me a proper chance in the team, and like, I don't have a bad word to say about him. Obviously, I would have liked to play a little bit more towards the end, but like, as a person and as a manager, I can't fault him. So at the end of the day, it comes down to results, and I don't think the results were good enough, unfortunately. So
Yeah, you said you would like to be playing more. So are you a sort of player that sort of asks the manager, like, what kind of things can I do so I can be earning like a regular opportunity? Or
yeah, I'll ask the manager what I can do, but obviously it gets to a point where if the team's not performing, then you have to change it up. And I know what I can do, and I believe in my ability. And no, I'm not going to keep going in and asking for the reassurance. What can I do? What can I do? Eventually, I've just got to. The manager's got to see it, or if he don't see it, then that's all right. I've just got to keep training as hard as I can and making an impression.
How difficult is it to play at the Bet365 Stadium? The capacity is 30,000, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe when results ain't going, the way you guys want it to go, is it a bit difficult to play in front of the home fans sometimes?
I wouldn't say it's difficult. I don't really, like, regardless of where I play. I mean, our fans, I like our fans. I think our fans get behind us a lot, and we're grateful for our fans. But I don't really pay attention too much to the crowds. You know what I mean? Like, they're there to watch at the end of the day and help you and support you. Opposition fans are there to try and put you off. But at the end of the day, I just look into what's going on the pitch in front of me. And if you get too caught up by the fans, then obviously you're not focused enough on what you're supposed to be doing on your job. So you can't let that affect you. I mean, there's hostile places you'll go, like Millwall.
Oh yeah, we're from that neck of the woods, so we know all about it. Yeah.
So like places like that were hostile. So you just go like home fans will be home fans. Obviously, they're not happy with the results, and I understand that. And we all get that as a team. So obviously, the results haven't been as good as we would have liked in the past. But hopefully, from now, after this international break, we can crack on and start picking up some points.
So how would you sort of assess your career at Stoke so far? Because you came in when Stoke were in the Premier League, you had like 4 appearances off the subs bench, you've been down to the Championship, you've had that spike, obviously you've had a bit of knocks. So like, where would you sort of say you are in your career right now?
I'm content with what I've done, but there's definitely more to come, more that I can do, more that will happen. Obviously, came in when I was 16 and I'm still there now, so it's a good thing, definitely. Like, they've always been there for me since the day I joined and been honest with me, so I can't fault them for that and the way the club has been with me and my family. But no, it's definitely, I definitely have a lot more to give. You know what I mean? I'm only 22. It's still a long...
Baby, still basically.
Exactly.
But you're built like a powerhouse.
Still got a lot to give to them, you know what I mean? So I'm just hoping this season and next season and the seasons after that, I can give them everything and we can go up the league together.
I mentioned before that obviously you played in the Premier League. So how was that making your debut? Because like that must have been mad.
Nah, it was mad. I mean, coming on at the King Power, obviously Leicester had just won the league the year before. Mahrez, Vardy, Maguire, Wes Morgan, like all these players are on the, and Didi, Kasper Schmeichel. I'm like, wow, like
This is mad.
they're crazy. I was like, and I was like, probably had a couple of them in my FIFA team at that stage. So it was just mad, but it was I was always stand by the hardest half an hour of my life.
Okay, what? In what
Harder
sense?
than a full game.
What, because of the physicality, the speed of the game?
Just the tempo of the game and the intensity of it, like the way the ball moves. Like, I thought I had time to take a touch and move it again, but Ndidi was on me. Then I'm like, just I don't.
And
like,
he will clamp.
Yeah.
He doesn't mind.
People were just coming out of like nowhere, you know what I mean, and just taking the ball off me, and I was like, wow, this is different to anything I've ever experienced before. But I'm grateful for the opportunities that I got in the Premier League, and it just made me want to get back there.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not finished there, nowhere near. So that's where I want to be. And
100%.
yeah.
So have you sort of had any opportunities to go to the Premier League? Because I remember sort of reading there was a period where like bare teams were reported to be interested in you. I think Newcastle, like there were links of like a £20 million move. Sort of, did you hear anything about that?
Obviously there was interest and stuff, but I wasn't really concerned with moving, especially in January. I mean, I wouldn't want to really look to move in January, especially if I'm playing and doing well at my team I'm at now, and we're doing well in the league. I mean, I'd always want to see the season out with the team and continue the form and the streak we're on. But there's been interest in the past, but it's never been like concrete enough to ever come to anything. Obviously, when I got injured, there was a lot of interest and a lot of things like whispers and stuff. But obviously, you can't really sign an injured player. So
did people like come to you and say, "Oh, Ty, like, oh, Newcastle potentially they want you, like, you're interested," kind of thing? And is it sort of that, or obviously Newcastle interested, but we're not going to entertain it, etc.?
No, it's just obviously as a player, it's up to me at the end of the day what I do, where I want to go, and it's just obviously it's presented to me, but it's not something that I'm like, as soon as I see it, I want to do it. You know what I mean? It's something that I'll have a think about, and because at the end of the day, it's a big move. You know what I mean? Like, it's a big step up, moving to it'd be moving to a different part. It depends what team you go to, I guess so. But it's like pick up and move your life. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of factors that come into it, but the main one at the end of the day for me is if I'm going to play. Because if I'm not going to play, then I'll be better off where I am. Yeah. But if I'm going to go to a higher level but be playing, then it's a win-win, isn't it? So,
yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So, like, do you read paper talk and like media? Because I remember when we interviewed Michael Richards, he was like, that's how he let himself down. When his name was buzzing, he was getting gassed. I'm on top of the world. I'm going to be the next English superstar, all of that kind of stuff. So, be honest with us. Do you read the papers? Do you read Twitter? Do you read Instagram?
No, obviously, I've got Instagram. I deleted my Twitter. But
why is that?
I deleted I had my main account on it. You know what I mean? So like the one that the fans will see and stuff, but I don't go on that no more. You know what I mean? I have like a private account, like a burner account.
You're the first person to admit that he's a burner.
What, you searching up your name in that?
No, I don't do that. I just look at the memes and stuff in it. Yeah. So well, I don't get too involved in it. Obviously when
but to be honest, like even Pep Guardiola came out and was like, you guys call me Fraudiola. Yeah. That means he's reading. He's reading. Like, let's keep it real. Are you guys reading social media?
No, but obviously you see stuff about yourself and like, you're like, right, this isn't true or that's true or shit like that. But like, it's not so. When I was younger and I first started seeing my name in the paper, I got gassed. Like,
So what? When you're in that season when you're banging in 9 goals, like after the game, you're like, what are you reading?
I'm like, yeah. But like that's like something that I've sort of changed now. Like it's something that I've changed, and like you enjoy the paper talk and you enjoy seeing your name being spoke about positively, but now I just keep it to myself. You know what I mean? Instead of I'm not one of them people that will shout and scream about me doing this, me doing that. Like, obviously I'll enjoy like the positive stuff I get from it, but I'm not gonna like be shouting and screaming about it. You know what I'm saying?
And you've obviously played for England as well, under 20s. So like, how was that experience, and like, which players were in your age group that some of the listeners might know?
The 20s, I was with Giancarlo, Angel Gomez, Tariq Lamptey, Jaffet, Tanganga.
Yeah.
There's so many ballers in that team. Emile Smith-Rowe.
Oh yeah.
Nathan Ferguson. Who's at Palace now? He's been struggling with injury, but a good solid player. Danny Lodo, Danny Namaso, he's at Porto now. Luke Bolton. There's so many players that are all like playing to an unbelievable level at the minute. You know what I mean? And everyone will know who they are. Talented boys, and it was just a joy to play in that team, to be honest, because the service was just fantastic.
You were just finishing it, putting it in the onion bag.
Obviously, you made your Premier League debut. How were your family after that? What did they say to you?
Those were just buzzing for me, because it was like, obviously at the time Paul Lambert was the manager, and he came in and he took a liking to me. So he was the one who really gave me them opportunities, and I'm grateful for what he did for me. And obviously my family were proud, as any family would be. My dad and my brother were at the game when I made my debut, so which was nice for them to see. So yeah, I was just happy to make them proud. And obviously, when I had a little meal to celebrate and stuff, but it's what they expected from me, so it wasn't something that's like out of character or wasn't expected to happen. So they expected it for me.
But how difficult is it to live up to that expectation? Like, it's not necessarily easy saying I'm going to be a Premier League footballer and you actually get there. Obviously, credit to you, you've done your thing. You're a top footballer. You get what I mean? But bro, it must be difficult.
Not really. If you don't, I don't really pay too much attention to it. Like, obviously, people compare. Like, I read stuff. People compare me to my dad. Am I going to be better than my dad? Will I ever be better than my dad? That's not that doesn't bother me. I just read it and be like, oh, cool, you know what I mean? Because he's Kevin Campbell, I'm Tyrese Campbell. 2 different players, 2 different careers. Like, obviously, at the end of the day, he's my dad, and I'll go to him if I need help. But it's my own career, and I've got to learn how to do it myself. I can't have my dad's help and advice and him lead me all the way. Like, I'm grown up enough now to just do my thing. So.
So how is that relationship? Because I'm a big boxing fan, and obviously there's Chris Eubank Jr., Chris Sr.
Yeah.
And at the beginning of his career, his dad was sort of at every press conference, and people were sort of saying, he's hogging the limelight.
Yeah.
So how has your dad been with you, like, throughout the duration of your career? Because I see that he's a bit, not distant, but he doesn't sort of come in front of the cameras, talk about my son. Because obviously he's got a successful broadcasting career with like TalkSport, Sky. So big up dad as well.
He's killing it.
He's killing it.
No, he's been the same from as soon as I like really got involved with football. He was like, I'm never gonna be one of them dads that's telling you to do this and to do that and shouting from the sideline and forcing you to do this. He goes, it's your career at the end of the day. You just do what you want to do. And if you need my advice, I'll be here to help you. But like, you got to learn like on your own, you know what I mean? It's the best way. Because if I continue to learn off him, it could get to a point where I can't speak to him no more, you know what I mean? And I can't get his advice, and what happens then? So if I learn my own way, then I can do it on my own, you know what I mean? But obviously I've got a great family that back me 100%, friends, close group, close like people to me that just guide me every step of the way, and I'm very grateful for everyone.
Would you say you have a lot of friends in football, or would you say you're more of a private person?
I have a lot of friends in football because I feel like as a footballer, you know what one another are, like privacy sort of thing. In terms of football friends, I say more of my friends are my mates from football, my teammates, players at other teams that I was at with, like from City, my time on loan at Shrewsbury, England. I only got like 3 or 4 close friends out of football, but I feel like that's more like I lost a lot of friends, but obviously you do when you get older and you get into this sort of position. You only want to be around people that you can trust 100% of the time. So I only got 3 or 4 like that.
So like you mentioned sort of your childhood as well. So like growing up, were you sort of around, I don't know, hangers on or people that were sort of bad for you in terms of like mixing on the road, or were you always fortunate to have that sort of circle of friends that were always aspiring to like do things?
I was quite lucky, to be fair, because obviously everyone knew what I did, and no one they knew they couldn't change that. So like I have probably from school 1 friend like I would still speak to like every day, and like, you know what I mean? But it was different for me because so obviously I was in primary school, then I went to high school, but when I was in year 8, City started their program of moving kids into the school. Like, so I was then from year 9 to like end of the school year, like year 11, I was with my teammates. So
that's dope.
Yeah. So like I was with them every day, and that's when I sort of like all my friends that I'd made before then at like my old schools, I'd sort of lost the connection to them, sort of thing. So, but I guess which is normal because I'm moving in a different direction to where they're going, because I'll be going uni, college, whereas I'm pushing on to be a professional and going that way. So it's always bound to happen.
And you mentioned sort of Manchester City, that you started there. So like, how was that for you in your early years, your grounding as a professional footballer? Like, what did you learn from that environment?
That was a lot about standards, and like it changed a bit because when I was first there, it was before the money and stuff, so it was a lot different to how it is now, or how it was the last couple of years I was there. But like, I was always grateful for my experience at City because it sort of like made me comfortable doing like all different things, like playing up front on my own. Because that's all I did really at City. It was a strict like 4-3-3, like a lot of movement, a lot of rotation, but I was like the focal point of it. You know what I mean? So I used to score like a lot of goals. I was happy. So, but I enjoyed my time at City. I mean, it wasn't an easy decision to leave.
So did they offer you like a pro?
Yeah.
Okay.
They offered me Scholar Pro, and it wasn't an easy decision because I'm leaving my teammates that have been there. Some of them I'd been there from 7 with. Some of them had joined later on. But yeah, it was a tough decision at 16, leaving all my mates to go somewhere where I didn't know anyone. But I definitely felt like I made the right decision.
So what was that decision governed by? Was it just strictly a route into the first team, or?
Yeah, just strictly like career path, because what City was saying was different to what I had in my head, you know what I mean, in terms of my career path. So I just wanted to be given a fair chance and a fair run. And if I'm going to be played off like merit and I've done well, then I'd rather that than do all these things before I get a chance to go in the first team. But
so what was the sort of differences? Was it like, okay, we'll sign you, go on loan here, come back? Or how was the career
it was sort of like sign, like play under 18s for 2 years, 23s for 2 years, then go on loan, then like.
So you would still be in the under 20 basically.
So obviously it could change depending on how well I did.
Yeah, of course.
For that to be outlined like that already when I was only 16, I was thinking like, when am I ever going to get a chance? And at City is different because they can buy ready-made like talent. You know what I mean? Like you look, they're bringing Haaland. Alvarez is a bagsman.
Yeah.
So like it's not easy for a striker at City, which I understand. Like they've got to compete to like be one of the best teams in the world. So I understand that, and I just felt I just wanted a fairer run at things. So that's why I chose Stoke. Yeah.
So like, are there any sort of players that you played with at Manchester City that have made it into the first team now? Because I think Foden will probably be a few years younger than you.
No, I was the same age as Phil.
Okay,
yeah,
so you played with him.
I was with Phil from when I joined when I was 7. Yeah, so.
Wow. So like seeing what he's doing, contact with him kind of thing.
Yeah, I still speak to Phil, yeah.
Okay. So like watching him grow, like was he always a baller?
Yeah. He's always like, he'd always have a football at his feet. Like even when we went to school together, he'd be running and taking a football off the kids and dribbling through about 15
crazy.
of them on his own. But Phil he's always been talented, you know what I mean? Like it was smaller than us for a few years. And then he like, when I left and he went through the 18s, the 20s, he started to grow. But obviously he went for 18 straight to first team.
Yeah.
And that's when he sort of grew, like got used to like using his body and learning how to use his body and stuff. And he's flying now. So
even like Jadon Sancho, was he part of your?
Yeah, Sancho's part of our team.
Wow.
Well.
So you've been amongst the ballers. And he's done it a different way. He went to Borussia Dortmund, earned his corn.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like Sancho's another one that's like he's too good to be playing academy football, you know what I mean? He has to be exposed to first team football, and he'd made the right decision in doing that because look at him now, you know what I mean? Killed at Dortmund, starting to like really warm up at United now, do his thing. So like our team was full of ballers, and if like you seen our team at the time, like we weren't getting beat by anyone.
Yeah.
Beating
so who is your team? Like for context, like listeners will be thinking, okay, there's Sanch, there's Foden, there's Ty. Who else?
So you got Sanch, Phil, me, Tom Deli-Bashiru at Watford. Joel Atbodia is at Swansea. Luke Bolton's he's at Salford now. Played a couple of times for City though. Edward Francis. Who else did we have? Joe Hilton's at Blackburn. Goalkeeper. Ika Pozo, I think he's still at City possibly.
Okay.
Just full of ballers to be fair. We had boys from like the year below. Felix Nemecha.
Germany.
Germany. He's at Wolfsburg now.
Yeah.
We had there was just like so many good players. Like training was like training was like more of a competition than like we play games on a Saturday and we go and beat Liverpool 9-0. Like,
Yeah.
whereas in training's like hard. Like everyone wants to win because that's where, for us, we were the best. You know what I mean? So we trained like we were the best.
So what did you win? Like competitions, like your leagues?
We didn't have
youth
league.
cups
We
and
didn't have
stuff?
leagues back then, and
Okay.
I left the City before youth cup years, so I played them the next year for Stoke. We got beat, but yeah, like we used to have the Premier League tournaments, and we won that 2 years in a row. And then like the third year, we had a lot of injuries and stuff. A lot of people like knee injuries and like freak injuries, so it was a bit tougher for us. But yeah, we won Premier League under 13, under 14. And we always went far in them. Like, it wasn't something that we got knocked out in the groups. We always went far. So, yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
sick.
And how good can Phil Foden be? Best English player of this generation? Is that how highly you rate him personally? You've seen him from a very young age.
I mean, if you look at him, it's not as if he's going to like stagnate and just stay where he's at. He's only going to go up. Like, he's got like one of the world's best managers working with him. The players he plays with are unbelievable. They'll give him advice, and his appetite for football is like, if he could, he'll just do kick-ups and kick the ball around all day, and he just wants to play football all the time, and he's only gonna go like get better and better and better. So yeah, he's definitely gonna be one of the greats.
We know people in and around him, and they say like he sort of employs like a personal trainer to work on his sprinting sort of thing. Like that's the sort of dedication he has to sort of take his game up to the next.
His build isn't like, he's not built for like, he's not like me who's just like a natural power athlete. You know what I mean? He's got to like work at that stuff, but like he knows what he needs to do.
But he's mad quick though.
Yeah, he's rapid.
Fam,
he's strong as well. Like
strong, like,
putting guys on the ground and that. No, he never used to do that before when he was younger. So like, fair play to him.
learning
You know
from
what I
you.
mean? Yeah.
So like for context, obviously he's not a Sancho or Foden, but at that age when you were young, were they sort of at a similar level, or who was sort of more advanced? If you understand,
There was always similar level, technical wise, ability wise. Like you ask anyone and you say who's the best players in that team, and them two are the first names that come to your mind. You know what I mean? But like the last couple of years of that, like of my life, like under 15, under 16, obviously Sancho's like growing, and Phil hadn't really grown yet, so it was a bit different because the people that we'd play were growing and stuff. But Phil could dribble through them. It's just a matter of like him learning his body and stuff. But Sancho's just always been Sancho, like beat a man for fun. Beat him once, beat him twice, and then go and get an assist or go and score. So like when Sancho joined I was like, I've never seen anything like it in my life.
So in terms of like personality, was he always like confident?
Oh yeah.
Because like we're from South London, similar neck of the woods. So Eze's from there, Nketiah, Zaha, all these kind of players. Like it's just the sauce, isn't it? Like South London sauce.
Yeah. He had that confidence about him, and he knew he was good. You know what I mean? And it's not a bad thing to be like, especially like the level he's at and the ability he has. Like it's a good way to be, because if you feel like no one can touch you, then you're gonna go out there and dribble and beat people like no one can touch you. So it's only good.
Back to you anyway. Like, what's your sort of trajectory over the next 12 to 18 months? What do you want to sort of achieve? So if we were to sit down in 12, 18 months, like.
Definitely play regular, be starting regular games.
Is that in the Premier League or?
That's what I was thinking.
In 12 months.
Yeah.
For this year for Stoke, you know what I mean. We'll get to the summer and obviously assess it. But for me, my focus is just on playing games for Stoke, scoring goals for Stoke, just getting back to that consistent level of finding the back of the net. You know what I mean? Because it's been a bit stop-start, and this is a season I want to kick on and start scoring again and helping the team get to where we want to be. So I've got like a lot of positivity and a lot of hope, and I feel like we can do that, and I can do that. I know I can. So that's all my aim for at the moment is.
You've definitely seen it in your record. Like you've scored goals at championship level, and as I said, it was only 12 months ago where you've been spoken about for like Premier League moves and that. So the ability is there. So hopefully you get that run of games just to consolidate it, because you're a baller, bro. So
Thank you.
Thank you. And last question from me before we go into life outside of football. Where would you say your confidence is at in terms of like a scale of 1 to 10? Are you, let's say 8, 9? Where do you think it's at the moment?
I would never be 10 out of 10 confident. Like
That's basically Erling Haaland.
Yeah. Like, that's just like mad.
Is that arrogance though?
Yeah, it's a good arrogance. So, like I don't never lose confidence in myself. It always stays around I'd say
because like you hear
seven,
like a term,
8, yeah.
Okay, because you hear like a term in football, he's a confidence player, or he's lacking confidence. Is that like actually a thing when you're not?
Yeah, of course, because like players can be having good spells in their career and be playing the best football because they're confident and they've seen and know they've been doing well. So, but they could then come out of the team, be put back in, and it's a completely different player. So confidence is a big thing in football, 100%.
Yeah, so we're going to speak about questions outside football. So like for our listeners and viewers that are watching, what's one thing about Ty Campbell that people won't know? Is that a deep one?
Yeah. I'm trying to think.
Because people see this sort of like footballer, striker, and like,
I'm very much a family man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like family, like definitely the most important thing to me, over anything. And I'm grateful for that. Obviously, the family I've got, and I definitely show them, like, want to show them how much I appreciate them as much as I can.
What do you like doing outside of football? Is it gaming?
Yeah,
mentioned that already.
Fashion.
Gaming,
FIFA.
fashion. I like my clothes. I like my music as well.
Okay.
Yes, them sort of stuff like music. I enjoy my music, my gaming most days.
Okay,
Looking at clothes.
You've got the proper gaming chair and everything. I can tell. You're not taking any chances.
So what kind of like music are you into? Because you mentioned it broadly, but obviously for our viewers, want to give like a breakdown. Like what tunes you listening to?
I like my Afrobeat music. I like
my guy. Yeah.
I like my American rap, my English rap, old school R&B.
Jeez.
Ladies, you got to cater. Ladies, you understand.
What Afrobeat artists are you messing with at the minute?
Burner.
Yeah.
Osake.
Oh,
come on. It's coming to London. He's doing a tour in the UK, actually, I think,
Oxlade
in December.
as well. Like his
Oxlade,
new that cooler side. That's my favourite song.
One of the best bangers.
Yeah.
I know Boss is listening to this. Boss, that's your tune, bro.
So yeah, like what else?
So in terms of like outside of football, what would you say your strengths are and what are your weaknesses?
My strengths, definitely like caring, funny.
we've had a bit of a laugh on this one.
Yeah, loving and that. So like I'm definitely like I'm a family person, family orientated, like in that sense. Weaknesses, no. Well, another strength, communication. Like I'm good at that.
No, I'm not gonna lie. You've given a fantastic interview.
Yeah,
There's been no starting or nothing, bro. It's been very
What, are you media trained?
More, yeah.
No, but you're giving
this is all just natural.
Yeah, that's good answers.
bro.
It's not like, it doesn't feel like a media.
Weakness, I'm very laid back, like sometimes too laid back. Yeah, I could be like,
that's how we get along.
I could need to do something in 5 minutes, and with 2 minutes left, I'll be like, still sat there. So I can be lazy at times as well.
You're not sleeping, innit?
Them lions, them evening lions. You should be probably conking now. If you weren't there, you'd be sleeping, innit?
Last one from me. And you don't have to answer this. You can tell me to keep quiet and I'll keep quiet. So we're going to add a new feature to this podcast where we ask each guest to potentially name a guest that we should get on in the future that you know or that you are close to. So you're going to kick this off. Who do you think is a good fit for this platform that you know in football?
It's a good question.
Or you can be thinking about it and I'll just ask my question.
Okay.
Let me think about this.
Don't forget.
Yeah, that's a soul searching.
Yeah.
So like footballers normally have like interests outside of the game, like property, investment, watches. I can't see you with a kettle today, so whatever. But like, what things are you doing outside of the game to protect your money? Because there's so many harrowing stories about players that have played at the top level. Then when they leave the game, they've got nothing to show for it, kind of thing. So are you at the stage yet where you're sort of thinking about that stuff?
I've got stuff set up that like obviously protects my money, it helps me in the future. Nothing too serious. Obviously, I've got a financial advisor and stuff that helps me with that. Accountant, and I just have like a certain allowance that I spend on myself, and then a certain allowance will go in my savings, like mock savings accounts and stuff like that. So it's not like I've got anything major set up, but I do have things there to protect my money and obviously make sure I'm set up right in the future.
No, that's good. Big up.
Big up, big up.
So what have you thought of the person?
I've got a couple, to be fair.
Okay.
Josh Laurent.
Oh yeah, Reading.
Yeah.
He joined in the summer.
Yeah, joined in the summer. That's my boy.
Courtney.
Yeah,
I know him and Courtney was tight.
Yeah, to be fair, you get both of them, and I know they're very close.
Yeah, close. You're giving an exclusive that's potentially gonna happen. So yeah.
Or Tariq Fosu as well.
Okay.
He just come from Brentford.
Brentford.
But like,
alone, I think.
Yeah.
good guy. I think he's funny as well. So
he
he's definitely
people as well. So
he
like,
definitely enjoy. I'm sure he's come up from obviously
South.
Exactly. Played for Oxford and stuff like that, and he's at Brentford. So yeah, he definitely got. And he's funny as well. So.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that'll be bad now. We'll travel up.
Yeah.
You can grill him on how I took money off him at Dats as well.
Okay, cool. We'll definitely ask him about that
I'm
one.
sure he will have something to say about that, but yeah.
You can't say nothing. Just smoking.
Just like I was playing dot at table tennis before.
And I gave him that. He has to lie. I gave him the work. We're going to leave it there. It's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you, bro. You've been very open, transparent and honest, and we appreciate you being so honest with us.
No, I love for coming on. Again, taking the time. We've travelled, but it was worth it. Like, this is the content we wanted to like speak about, and you've been very, very open, transparent. So yeah, love for that, bro. And we definitely want to stay in contact as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Love. So we're going to leave it there. That's another episode of the Beautiful Game podcast. Like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow our socials, as I plugged earlier. I'm stuttering because it's been a long day, but we're going to leave it there, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.